Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. In this one, we are going to be taking our first official look at the live stream and Scarlet Witch and abilities, specializations. Okay, so live stream recap here, looking at that, some high level stuff. Holy Lord, buckle up. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. Hammer down like buttons, click the notification bells. Help the algorithm out if you like. Appreciate that always. Let's check this out because there's quite a bit.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, so the live stream was Danny, Thorn, or if you're, I think he's a Torch on the Discord server moderator, and Dakota, who I believe is I don't know if he worked for Netmarble or Marvel, but is clearly a developer type with the game, worked behind the scenes, was very knowledgeable with comic books and the Scarlet Witch story. So as they went through sort of the costumes and stuff, really knew a lot about the lore. We're not going to go through every moment in this thing. I think that's if you really want to watch that, go ahead. Started with the costumes. I think my favorite one, and actually I'll go through this part slow, so I don't want to steal this from you guys, because I'm not going to try to make this video the same length as theirs. So they went through the modern one. I thought this one was okay, interesting, some different color patterns. I think just if you want to do themed or whatever, that's fine for this one, but I didn't necessarily, I wasn't like in love with it necessarily. I thought it was decent. Again, some more colors of the modern one. This is New Stark City. I thought this was neat, very much matched some of the other New Stark stuff that we saw. I'm not gonna wear that one. This one of New Stark City I think is pretty cool. I like the green, I like the gray, I like the purple, and this is sort of the rarest version of them, which is like pretty techy. Yeah, and actually, oddly enough, that's what Danny just said. So, decent, not bad. They spin around that one for a little bit. Xander, they go to here. I think it's fine. Nothing all that exciting on this one. I thought it was decent. Yeah, again, that's the more rare version. That one's fine. I think it fits that theme. If you like that theme, I don't think you'll be disappointed in it. Different colors. Then he jumps to Midgardia. Midgardia ones are always typically pretty good looking. I like this one quite a bit, and I'll blow this up a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more on this. And I think that generally speaking, the dreads, that's what they're showing here now. I thought that was pretty cool, and I definitely like that. It was neat. As they go through here, and he mentioned something on Loki here too, by the way, that Loki might show up again later. So I thought that was an interesting teaser. I don't know exactly what it means. Is he gonna be a companion? Is he gonna be? I mean, I don't expect him to be a playable character, but you know, maybe. I mean, he is sort of more good than bad, I guess, in the MCU bit stuff. So we'll see how that shakes out. And then he's showing some more. This is the more rare Midgardia one. I think that's super sharp. I really like it quite a bit. I love the colors. It's pretty black and red, but I very much enjoyed that one. I thought it was sharp. And they spent a lot of time on the costumes on this. So I'm not necessarily looking to do that, but they did spend a lot of time on it. So yeah, let's see. So let's see. This is the Sakaar one. I thought this was it was good, it was fun. Let's see here. Again, looking at some dreads in the back for Sakaar. I think it's fun. It's kind of like, there's like some feathery cloak type stuff, some tats on the legs, different colors. I don't love this one. It's a little bit bulky for me, but I think it's it's solid. City of Ghosts, real plain. I think it's fun. I like it. This he talks about the lore a little bit on this. And again, I like he says here, it was super clean. And it is, if you're looking for more of that look, some different colors. That one is kind of fun. Green, white. again, depending what you like. That's one of the things that, depending on appearance and how you like to play with stuff. This one, Emerald Curse, I think this one's kind of fun. I like the color of it. I like just the general like business attire of it. Not one that I'd necessarily use. A little bit different color there. That's not my necessarily cup of tea. Again, playing with some color. That one's very businessy, and it almost is like it's not the Scarlet Witch you're currently thinking of, and especially with some of these disassembled. I like this. This is cool. Again, Dakota talks about a little bit of the lore behind that when the Avengers disassembled, and this was her outfit during those times. I mean, you're not going to hear me talk bad about most of these costumes just because I thought they were good. That one's not necessarily, I don't like. I'm not like a green guy, or even like a beigeish there. Again, they spent some time on the disassembled one, putting some pieces around a little bit. Hydra Empire. This one is gonna, I'm interested to see what people think of this one. I thought it was okay. The bow tie, the buckle, like it's some nice detailing. I don't think I'd wear this one. I'd probably wear the bow tie one just sort of as an appearance, just to be sort of like, I had a fishbowl outfit that I love for all my Widow. It's kind of a trolley situation. I'd see myself wearing the Hydra one for that, just to kind of be goofy and silly, but again, the detail on this stuff is phenomenal. They're showing, oh, that one's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, gosh, the color options are just endless. Okay, now this is definitely, I'm gonna let this one play through. This is my favorite. Dark Domain, I think, is my favorite. This one in particular, the first one where it's the red, gray, and green. It is just so cool looking. And Dan even says there, it is just really, really evil looking. I love the wings as the cape. It's kind of a bat wing type situation, or like a demon dragon type wing. And I really, really dug that. And like he's saying now, I keep zooming on the eyes because it's just so sinister and evil looking. He goes to the rarest version, and this one's okay. I wouldn't necessarily like actively try to get this one. It's fine looking. I like sort of the redder look with Scarlet Witch. And again, he's going through some of the other ones. That one's all right. I like, that's decent, little light. I like the brighter situation. A lot of these are earth tony, and I don't know. I want to see some of those really bright reds or oranges or blues, whites, anything along those lines. So again, a sharp look he's putting on the side here. You're looking some of that detail. It is just super. They did a great job with the Dark Domain outfit. Whoever on the artist team worked on this one, they knocked it out of the park. It is great. And then they go into Young Avengers look. I know they spent a little bit. I think that's sharp. I like that general look. It's just kind of a general stylish. This was the one I liked the second best, probably, or close to first best. Call of the Mountain. Just that actually reminds me of some Game of Thrones there a little bit. But it looks. I just like this. I don't know what it is, but I think this outfit's kind of sheen. I like the fur around the shoulders. The cape is also sort of like torn apart a little bit, but it also flows. I like this very much. I think it's really, really cool looking. It's probably one of the ones I definitely consider wearing as I went through the game. So let's see. Yeah, the colors. And then they go through the specials. These are all pretty good. All the specials are normally decent. There's a feather in the helm there. You got the steam coming off of the gear. I think, again, pretty cool. Great detailing there, as always, with the steampunk. Then you've got Rise of the East. Little shine off of that. Some of the shoulders are coming, like, it's actually raised up off of the gear. I thought it was fine. I don't know if I'd ever necessarily like show that off per se. The Eye of Osiris, though, this one's cool looking. They nailed this one as well, where she looks very much like an Egyptian goddess in this one. So great job on that one. I think it's really sharp, well done. Savage Shadowlands, these are always sort of different and fun. They've got some dinosaurs on it. They've got some horns, and I think it looks pretty solid. I like it. as they go through this. Again, I don't know if I'd wear that other than to just be sort of silly, but they look cool. I mean, I like how it looks. It's different. They give some dinosaur in the eyes to it. And it's the tattoos, again, those are pretty sharp. She had some on the neck. She's got some on the legs. I liked how those were just looking as they scrolled through there. And then they had the Doctor Strange actually outfit that they'll have in game 2, which is pretty sharp. So I think that was pretty good. They go to the skills next. They spend a good amount of time on this. The two biggest things is they got Cursed and Instability. Those are the two new status effects in the game. Danny's going to explain these. They're pretty crazy.
So for Cursed
and Instability,
your enemy to not able to use dodge.
Now, which is crazy. Like, now I don't know if that's active or passive. So I think either way, it's pretty awesome.
For instability, it makes your opponent's skill cost more expensive, so they consume more stamina than it.
So, and that's the other part. Instability, it's more stam. I mean, and this is sort of where like I start seeing a lot of her stuff like really take off, as far as like the thumbnail and stuff goes like that. Like I'm super into costumes. I like them. They're cool for dressing, but this is where the rubber meets the road in the game. That do you have the right abilities to really get through this and make a character powerful? So they talked about skills here. I'm curious to see if these notes end up being the same thing we agree with in game. They talk about what you want to do for PvP. He talks about chaos magic.
Costume that improve the chaos magic,
which is PvP. I think they mentioned at some point.
For PvP, you want to use
the regional Sakaar.
Regional stuff such as Sakaar.
And then I think he talks about Eye of Osiris.
Special one, Eye of Osiris.
So that's going to be interesting. They go through some skills later. Frankly, there are so many skills on this thing that could be good in PvP. I mean, it's definitely check out the stream to see it. I might do one later that's more into the skills on this, but holy cow, there's just a ton of stuff here. And he goes through some of it here. Yeah, it's just like throwing energy here, throwing a ball, like hex protection, single target, decent. So here, I mean, you've got something where it's like, okay, a barrier launches. It's like, all right. And really this stuff for specialization where it gets to us. Drop chaos magic. It's only 262% damage and turn them unstable. So that's part of that. Now, and that's part of the thing. While I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to see what these percentages of damages are because, I mean, status effects can be a big deal. But if Iron Man could just come in there and just blow her up real quick because she can't do anything, then okay, that's not going anywhere. So, or if she can't, status affect you enough, or it sort of depends, but we'll see. I mean, they're definitely trying to lean into that. So,
stamina consumption goes up.
Yeah, that's the stam consumption for the Chaos Judgment. This one is there's a huge object where it actually swings to the ground.
Concentrated hack energy.
Yeah, and you can see some of the animations are pretty cool. As they kind of go through this, and then again they're showing like 840% damage, 540% damage to change the guard break. It's all pretty interesting and neat there, but here's another one here where it's the runic absorption one where you've got again is this the one where the runic alphabets behind her back and deals enemies. I thought this was the confusion one. Oh, they're unstable. Decreases attack, deals damage. A little bit longer cooldown on that, but not bad. It's very interesting. It's not everything, but it's cool.
Not to use.
Let's see what else we got here. Again, he's showing some more here. Create runic alphabets around her and releases energy to flying towards the enemies for 519% damage. Silences the enemy and turns them unstable. Again, it's just like, I mean, granted, like the interesting part about the unstables isn't that the one where they use more? Well, if you're silenced, okay, that might be a little bit of a double up there if I'm remembering the new status effect accuracy or the new status effects properly. But again, it's just the fact that that's sitting there, and wait till we get to specializations again. So that one's pretty good. And as they go through here, we're almost to the end of these. Witch's Sphere, it's just like an attack where it comes through and does some damage. 793% damage, 953% damage. But look at the cooldown, 30 seconds, that's pretty long. Decreases melee damage by 15%. Create energy sphere around her. It does deal damage to nearby enemies if they're near you, so it's not that bad. But if you're looking for a defense situation where someone's gonna be up against you, you can definitely use something like that. The one that's looking there, it's a 9-second cooldown, which is kind of crazy. So it's a knockback on that for 9 seconds, pretty solid. This one similar, just some damage, nothing crazy.
For crowd control.
Yep. See if he goes to reality fold. Manipulate surrounding space to force field damage, absorbing the damage dealt to herself and nearby enemies. So it's like an absorption or shield barrier type thing, which is kind of cool. There's a teleport to the enemy and releases energy, so that's like she can go behind him. Kind of cool. Short cooldown on that. And then there's a teleport behind him again, a little bit of damage, and it causes confusion. Release energy, it transfers successfully to nearby enemies to spread damage. AoE doesn't hit for a lot there. That was only 182% damage, which again, those are the things where I'm like, all right, like how much is that going to do? So this one manipulates surrounding energy to absorb, right? It also in the same tree manipulates the time space around herself to become invincible and recover the ultimate skill gauge. Cannot use the skill when invincible. So I think we were talking about this a little bit. So I don't know what, when it says the skill, does that mean it can't use the ultimate skill or it can't use any skill? I'm hoping it's just the ultimate skill because it's a long cooldown here, 35 seconds, 31 stam, recovers up to 20% of the ult gauge. So I think you need to be able to go through this, and it's nice to get to that ult gauge if it's really important. We'll see if it's so critical that you're actually going to do something where you basically just sit there and build up and can't do anything else, or at least maybe it's just the ultimate you can't do. But I think that's pretty interesting. And then they got the Terra consumption here, which the basis creates an illusion of herself near the target, does some damage, and periodically infuses Scarlet Witch with energy to increase her attack. The effect is amplified upon reaching max stat count, untargetable while using this. So it's a 25-second cooldown there. You know, increases attack by 30% for 10 seconds upon reaching max stack count. So it's a stack buff. I guess it depends how long it takes to get that stack buff going, but the untargetable is interesting. 25 seconds. We'll see if it's actually something that's super good. And then he was just saying there that she's just OP. So, and that's kind of where that thumbnail comes from as well. Is like, is she just going to be kind of sick? And again, the other one in here is and disappears. It releases shockwave of energy and then disappears into the shadows. Becomes invisible for, I think it's 3 seconds there. Yeah, vanishes for 3 seconds. So that's like Widow's ultimate. You know, it's just like an ability, which is sort of crazy.
This companion will always be on the battlefield. So
yeah, and then they're just talking about that Scarlet Witch always being there, and then the ultimate. So the ultimate is pretty sick. It's Darkhold lasts for 15 seconds. The amount of damage it does is 1500, and then it sticks around and keeps attacking, which you'll see here, and I'll actually play through it. It increases Hex Energy class skill damage by 20% for 15 seconds. So Hex Energy could get pretty, I mean, that you might want to combo that Hex Energy with that ultimate. So he talks about the Darkhold a little bit, but I want to show yeah, see how it's still attacking there? It just keeps going after it explodes, and boom,
it will buff the attack,
and then it starts attacking still, and it's sort of crazy. I mean, I'm just like, wow, like it is pretty bonkers how good her skills were. I was impressed with them. Look, there's a deeper dive to be dove into these things once we actually get the skills and look at all of them in game. But this was pretty solid stuff. I was pretty impressed with these. I wish you would have went through every one of them, but that's a lot to go through. All right, so for this next part, they're talking about, actually, maybe it is PvP because Chaos Magic is the ones that they were talking about before. So these are your specific skills that they're saying to use for PvP.
Chaos Magic, Chaos Sphere to be specific, Shape of Terror, Shadowy Terror skill, in the Witch Darkness group, Witches descent, and in the Witch Tongue group, reality warp.
So he's looking for reality warp here. Yeah, so this one. So reality warp manipulates the time and space, and it's a 35 second and 31 seconds or 31 stam, recovers up to 19% of the alt gauge. So that's the reality warp, becomes invincible, can't use skill gauge. So they're saying that's part of what you want to use for PvP.
And language of demise, the gift of silence.
So then they talk about Gift of Silence, which is another one that they're saying is good for PvP as well. And it seems pretty decent here, where it's, what is that? Summons a giant hand that draws a spell disc, casts runes 419%, and pulls enemies. Inflicts silence and cursed, which is sort of like, okay, 22-second cooldown on that. Silence is 2 seconds. Inflicts curse for 5 seconds when the skill lands. I mean, so it's just got to land, so it's like double situation there as far as, you know, debuff, or, you know, maybe not debuff, but the status effect. And now he says PvP again here for hex, focus for PvP, focus hex energy. I'm assuming this one's the PvE. So they went through some of the skills, obviously, for PvP, not all of them. I think the ones that they checked out there were about 3 of them. But they might have mentioned it in there. But I want to go through here myself and actually check those out. He talks hex energy for PvE, which is PvE.
Costume, you want to focus on regional costume such as Zenith.
So they seem to be leaning into this ultimate a little bit as well. So maybe that does do a ton of damage.
Special costume such as steampunk.
All right, so steampunk there. So no Rise to the East. But here's some skills as well for PvE.
You want to do for PvE, it's terror consumption from the shape of terror, hex lightning from the hex projection skill, hex strike, psychokinesis skill, witch's sphere from the witch's darkness, language of demise, runic absorption.
Now this is where it gets crazy. Okay, so this stuff. So I'm just going to flip through this because they go through it a bit. Increases status effect accuracy by 2.5 and accuracy rate by 2.5, but it's at 0 to 1 when battle lasts for 6 seconds. Okay, so basically you're going to get whatever this buff is. Okay, there shouldn't be a battle that lasts less than 6 seconds. Make sure it does last 6 seconds. Increases damage dealt to supervillains by 30% when having a hex. So this is going to be something that you're going to want to make sure that you get from this specialization for PvE. And that's, you can tell, 10 out of 10. So that helps with supervillain damage situation where you don't have to build that, which is honestly phenomenal. Let's see, increases damage dealt. This is the yellow one up in the upper right. Damage dealt to immobile targets or targets with status effect by 27 to 30%. Seems like this could be good for both. Frankly, it is hex magic as far as a spell, or it's called that, and they were saying that's PvE. But this seems like it could be pretty good regardless, given the fact that you're going to probably have status effects on pretty much everybody that you're looking at. Increases targets skill cooldown by 3 seconds when attacking a target within 5 seconds after using a chaos class skill on a target that has status effect. Now, I love the concept behind this one, but it seems like there's a lot of buttons that you got to get exactly right in a row to get this to pull off. That might be okay. That helps limit her like OP-ness, but I think that it is definitely something that has got a lot of potential. If you can learn to pull that off, you are doing good things. When attacked while lower than 50 HP, creates a magic explosion that deals damage equal to 13.5%, and inflicts confusion on targeted enemies for 3 seconds. So while you're under 50%, it does confusion, like when attacked. So anytime you're attacked when under 50% HP, it creates an explosion that deals magic damage and does confusion. So I really want to see what this is like in Dimension Duel. If you can't attack in Dimension Duel because of this, holy cow. Now, I still like it in Omega Wars 2, where I know with my Widow, I've got some like group setting PvP setups. This, to me, is just like, I'd want to be under 50% and just sort of run around and like try to stay within a 50% range, have a barrier or something, and let people attack me, just get confuse people all the time. That would be so fun. Very, very interesting specialization here. I like this sort of creativity. This one increases targets. Oh, this was the one I talked about earlier. Increases max damage rate by 67.5% for 5 seconds when using a chaos class skill. So the cooldown 7 seconds. So you should be able to have this up almost all the time. And that is a gigantic stat boost right there. So if you have this stat by itself is pretty much taken care of, which is one of the last stats people can go to because they need all these other stats to build up. But if you can get this through a specialization and play it right, she is going to be doing some massive peak damage there, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, depending if the other percentages are right. Becomes immune to status effects for 8 seconds when using a witchcraft class skill. Cooldown 13 seconds. All right, so immune to status effects for 8 seconds. Cooldown, so there's a 5-second window there where you're not immune. And that's, I mean, you think there's other characters in the game or companions that you can combo with this. Yikes, like you're not going to put any status effects on her. Again, she feels very much like a Spidey counter to an extent, which I know some folks were saying like, great, so you're making this character, you know, a counter to the, the best free-to-play character in the game. Like, that stinks. We'll see if it actually is a counter, but I would agree if they did that. It's like, oh, you should have just, I know Spider-Man's annoying, but like give those free-to-play characters or players, an opportunity there. Critical hit applied to all skills for 2.5 seconds after 3 max damage hits. So if you got that max damage rate up, and it's the cooldown's 21 seconds though, so this isn't really that big of a deal. I don't think I'd actually go into this one, but it's an interesting concept. I like it that you would always critically hit for 2.5 seconds if you got 3 max damage hits, but given the cooldown is 21 seconds, this is not going to happen very often. So I don't know. Now, it is a situation where you're like, hey, I'm going to save this for when I'm actually going to make sure that I've got some big boom, but you've really got to line your rotations up to get that right. It seems like it would be a big challenge to pull that off. Fires magic that spreads to 5 enemies and deals damage. Inflicts silence for 2 seconds when using a witchcraft skill. 12-second cooldown. Again, awesome. Recovers stand by 30% once every 5 times a skill is used. So that is, again, I like that a lot. There's no cooldown on it. It just constantly does it. I very much just like that ability. I think that if you've got any stam issues, that helps. So we're talking about getting rid of max damage rate stat, and stam that right then and there can help you stay up on your stam so you don't get locked. This one was interesting. Increase movement speed by 20% for 2 seconds when using a dodge, and when the movement speed increases effect ends, decrease cooldown of any skills by 2 seconds. Cooldown 12 seconds. So basically you can dodge and then move around quickly and then get your cooldown decreased. Again, I like it. Like, I really like that. There's a lot of theory crafting that can be played here. At first I didn't like this one, but the more I was talking about it and looking at it, I was like, wow, that is just sort of crazy good, or can be crazy good. At this point, he shows off he shows her off a little bit in game, just kind of running around and using some of her abilities. Wong comes out. I'll be interested to see how the community accepts Wong as a companion or not, if they find him as someone who's going to be good or not. I've got some early thoughts on that, but I'll save those for another time. I want to kind of see him a little bit more in game, but he's got some great stats on him. You can see, like, again, her abilities are just, they seem cool. They seem fun. I mean, he did this for a little bit. But this is the ultimate, so watch this there. So massive damage, and then just he's not hitting any abilities. He's just flying around. Yeah, he's just flying around and it's just doing damage. Just
one dangerous book.
It really is. Yeah, that's exactly. He's not even doing anything. So that's pretty sweet. All right, here they show the new Doctor Strange skin. And it is pretty cool. It is what you'd expect from the movie. It's that zombie dead, Defender Strange look. I think it's pretty cool. I think a lot of Doctor Strangers are gonna like that, enjoy that. Yeah, I think I really did think they did a good job with it. It looks sharp. It looks cool. I think some Doctor Stranges who are looking for a new look are going to like that quite a bit. They then walk through the invasion. They go through this. I'm not going to spend any time on this. They did it real quickly. The power levels recommendations seem to be the same as what they were before, so I wouldn't stress about that if you were doing what you needed to. They did show them. They went through the badges a little bit. There's a max damage rate on the badges. Let me see if I can find that. So you can see right here, the stats seem to be decently the same. I think it's awesomely convenient. He's got 2 green cores on there. Give those to us. That'd be great. But increases max damage rate by 6% for 7 seconds upon landing a critical hit. Okay, so again, if you're leaning into her max damage a bit, I think that's solid, but the cooldown's 8 seconds. I don't know how much I'm going to love these badges. I like max damage rate if I can get it. I don't know if I can afford to lose some of the other stuff that the other recent badges that we've got give me on something like this. They don't show what the full set equip is on this. I wish he would have scrolled up a little bit. He didn't. Though here's another one. So each one's a little different. This one is decreased stamina consumption by 15% for 7 seconds upon landing a max damage hit. So each one is going to have a slightly different buff. And those were +1s. He didn't go through them all. We'll have to look in the patch notes what we got. Now this is probably the biggest thing outside of Scarlet Witch that they had. They have a 7-week login thing. So you've got to log in every week to get this. First week is just a costume draw of 10 tickets. Nice. Second week is a 4-star special mega box. That's pretty nice. Week 3, premium core, which is another 4-star. That's whatever. Week 4 is a 4-star special companion box. Like, that is awesome. I love that. Hopefully that gives me a character that I actually want and need. I wish it was a selection box, of course. Getting greedy. Week 5 is 6-star core box. Also wish it was a selection because I'm gonna get HP recovery. Week 6 is decent draw to 10 draw ticket selection box. And the big prize of this is week 7, a 6-star special costume selection box. Pick whatever you want. Special costume 6-star. Pick what you want. Getting that for free is honestly sort of crazy. Now, you got to get the stats rolled right, which is part of my RNG issue with the game and some of the things they have. But man, oh man, that is an awesome thing to get. So they had that in there, and I just straight up was like, okay, then. A lot of people seemed really happy about that. I'm happy they did that. They talked about it for quite a while. They were talking about their different impressions, different costumes they like, how good they thought she was going to be. And frankly, I think that she's going to be a pretty solid tune. They kept talking about it a little bit here. They're impressed. They're looking forward to it. I thought the stream was done decently well. I like these guys. They held it together. They did. I wish they would have talked. I wish they would have showed potential. I wish we could have seen more of the skills, but I understand that takes. I mean, this stream was an hour and 12 minutes long with just what they did. I think maybe they could have spent. I mean, costumes are awesome and I love them, and it takes a minute, so it might be hard to refine some of that to go through it quicker, but. They did a solid job. So hats off to them. I'm stoked to look for her. Even this video is way longer than I wanted to be, so I'm going to cut it short. I'll do some more videos on Scarlet Witch as the days come. I'm just stoked. I'm really excited to see her. But again, I know we got fodder problems. I know we got all that kind of stuff that I want to see fixed, hopefully, or make it feel a little bit better. We'll see how the game evolves, but I'm having fun, and that's the most important thing right now is do I have fun in the game? Do you have fun in the game? I try to let those frustrations of stuff be on the side and just suggestions for them to get a little better. New to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. Hammer on like buttons, click notification bells, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff. It's clearly too late for me. I need to go to bed. And so until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.